This is The Toss-Up, where an expert line panel dissects the hottest stories within the world of sports. From some of the nation's strongest college programs right here in Bloomington to the games and moments that capture the world's attention, it's all right here on The Toss-Up. The ball is in my court now. The spring season for IU athletics is in full swing, so it's time to cause a racket with all these puns and talk to some IU men's tennis. The men's and women's team have combined to win their last 5 matches and have shown dominance at home early on. The men's team has the experience, while over half of the women's team is made up of newcomers. We've already seen a lot of tennis so far, but there's plenty more to go. So with Big Ten play already underway for the men's team and about to get started for the women, it's time for us to break it all down right here on The Toss-Up. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the show. I'm Drew Fry here alongside a panel of IU tennis experts. We've got Ta Lau, Evan Kamiko, and Payam Ahmadi, Payam from the men's tennis team itself. So we're going to get started right off the bat here, Ta, looking at the Big Ten Conference. This is where both the men's and women's teams play. Obviously, a lot of big power hitters, top-heavy in the men's conference. Where does the Big Ten stand nationally?
Well, the Big Ten right now is doing very well. You know, historically speaking, the Big Ten hasn't always been known for being a powerhouse in college. However, this year, there are up to 7 teams in the Big Ten Conference represented in the top 50 in the latest rankings, of course. And one of those being IU, made it at number 49. We have the big hitters, Michigan and Ohio State up top, then Illinois, Iowa, Minnesota in the middle. And then, you know, it's a very tough conference right now, packed top to bottom. And I think that comparing it with the rest of the other Power 5 schools in the top 50, Big Ten with 7 teams, very impressive. Of course, you're not going to beat the ACC and the SEC, both with 10 schools in the top 50. However, if you compare it with the Big 12 or the Pac-12, Big Ten's going to be proud of where they are right now.
And Evan, what about the women?
Yeah, and I think a lot of that also goes into the women's rankings. Like, the Big Ten isn't very powerful. You have Ohio State right now, who's 5, and then you have Michigan, who's roughly about 16, as the last one that I checked. But overall, the women's Big Ten isn't that strong as, say, the SEC or the ACC, which are really just the powerhouses of women's tennis right now. So a lot of that is still coming up, but there are some really good teams to keep a lookout for in the Big Ten. But unfortunately, the Big Ten overall just doesn't look as strong as these other conferences do.
Yeah, and now, Payam, I know for you guys, you have to play some of this top-level talent all the time. And one thing I've noticed is the coaching. You've got Coach Wartzman, you've got Coach Asqui on the women's team, and even the volunteer coach, Ronnie Schneider, that have all played at the professional level. I mean, Schneider was in a Grand Slam just a few years back. So when you're facing some of these top talents, like these Ohio States that are putting players into like ATP matches, how much does that coaching really help the team?
Yeah, I mean, it's huge. We're very lucky. We have Jeremy Wartzman as our head coach, and like you said, as a player, he played in college. He was #1 in the country. He got up to NCAA championship. He was actually one of the first players to start with the Ty Tucker era that we see now. He's the same coach today, and he was unbelievable. In the collegiate level, but then in the professional level as well. I mean, he got up to top 300 in the world. So, I always love to pick his brain. I'm very lucky on the doubles court. He's on my court, so we're going through all the nitty-gritty details, every play, where we're serving, where we're trying to go for the return. And then, Ronnie Schneider was a huge addition. He's a secret weapon for us. He came in, I think, my junior year or mid-sophomore year, and we're very lucky to have him. He's a bit younger, so he relates to us more. But, got up to 400 in the world, top 10 in the country in college, made a national championship, was just matches away from holding that trophy. So we're very lucky with those guys. And then our assistant coach as well played, very high at the collegiate level at Wake Forest, and he's all about the energy and everything. So we're very lucky. I mean, we got a stacked crew, and on game days we got guys we can go to, and on the doubles and singles court, we feel like we have a good group of people that can help us out there, definitely.
Yeah, it's incredible to just like go through these lists and see some of the accomplishments, both of Wertzman, Schneider, Asqui, Murray, that all down the line, and having them at your court. And speaking of being at your court, that's one thing that the men's and women's teams have both seen is some dominance in the home court, a little tougher to win on the road. Ta, why do you think that is?
Well, I think there are three main reasons, and hopefully Payam can back me up on this. First one, of course, I think if you're practicing there, you get familiar with it, whether it's where the net is or how a little high or a little lower it is, probably. And the second factor, the home crowd. Obviously, you have the crowd backing you up all the time. You have, people cheering you, whether it's parents, whether it's coaches as well. Everyone's on your side. And the third, probably, it's indoors, and a lot of teams in tennis practice outdoors. They come to the IU Men's Tennis Center. They probably have to adjust a little bit in the way that they play. So I think that three factors probably contribute to why IU's undefeated so far at home this year.
Yeah, and Evan, the women's teams had a similar thing with losing some of these tough ones on the road.
Yeah, the thing about being home is, Toss said it perfectly. There's a lot of things that benefit you. You're practicing there 24/7. You're getting used to it. You're comfortable. You have your fans on your side. And also, if you look at the women's schedule, it's a little bit easier at home versus on the road. On the road, they've played teams from the SEC like Kentucky and number 20th Tennessee. They've lost both of those, 4-0 and 4-1. And at home, you've played a little bit of a lighter schedule as, Big Ten play is starting tomorrow. So a lot of that is going to be tested of how can they do at home against the better opponents in, a Northwestern or a Penn State, Michigan, Wisconsin, all that coming up soon.
Yeah, and Payam, how much of a real thing is that? You'd know better than anyone. Like
Yeah.
when you're playing at your home court, is home court advantage real, even if, it's not like it's the Assembly Hall, I'm being honest. Like you don't have thousands and thousands of fans at all of your matches. But still, when you've got those extra couple hundred, how much does that matter?
No, definitely. I think this year more than ever. My fourth year here, I haven't seen crowds like this. Our first match, I don't know if you guys were there, but with Ball State, it was a Sunday match, and I looked up the crowd.
It was packed.
It was pretty good. Yeah, it was pretty good. So I definitely think that the crowd plays a factor. And like you guys said, we have one freshman on our team. Everyone else has been here for at least a year in the starting lineup. So they've become accustomed to the courts. We love seeing our crowd out there. We're used to it, and I would not want to be an away team coming into our building and playing against that crowd, and especially the energy that we're bringing in doubles right now. I think right from the get-go, we just get on top of everyone. So yeah, especially tomorrow, I'm excited to get going, and then Saturday as well. So I definitely think it is a factor. The home court advantage is real.
Yeah, and starting with you mentioned that energy on doubles. How important is that doubles play? I've heard both teams really stress, because the way the scheduling or the way the formatting of these matches works, doubles is worth 1 point, singles is worth 1 point each, which amounts to 6. But how much does that 1 point really mean?
Yeah, I personally think it sets the tone for the match. Right when you're getting out there, I think it is worth 1 point. So it obviously, singles, it's possible to be able to come through, and you guys have seen that, I'm sure. But, in doubles, really, when you get out there, it sets the tone for the match. And if you can get on top of a guy, especially, when we're seeing matches like Notre Dame or like UCSB and whatever, the doubles point, it kind of sets the tone for how the match is going to go. And Notre Dame actually was one of those examples that we lost the doubles point there, but going into singles, we just came together as a team. We connected on all courts, and it woke us up. That break in between doubles and singles is huge, because teams that lose the doubles point is a chance to wake up. Teams that win the doubles point, it's the ability to try to run through the singles lineup right after that. I think it's crucial to be able to have a good start, and we've had a good start, this whole year, I think, pretty much. So it's been pretty good.
Yeah, definitely. And Evan, you can speak to the women's team a little better as well. The doubles point has almost decided a lot of these matches. Either they take it and run, or they struggle and falter.
Yeah, in the matches away, you've seen them struggle and falter a little bit more than they have at home. When they're home, and they win that doubles point, it's huge. But sometimes when they don't win it, like over the weekend against Ball State, they dropped it, and then they won 6 straight singles. So really, like Payam said, it's a really big thing that, if your foot's on the pedal, your foot's on the pedal, and you win that, you're going to keep going. And if you lose that, the women's team has a great ability to come together and really bond and really get to know each other. And they can go and they can rely on each other, and they're there for each other. So that doubles point, as big as it is, it's not the biggest thing in the world, in my opinion.
Yeah, and so as we're looking down the stretch of some of this Big Ten play that's getting ready to start, already started for the men's team, who are some of these players you think have grown? You've seen some of these growth out of either from last year to now or just this season alone?
Well, I think there are two standouts for me. Of course, number one being Vikash Singh. I saw him play last year as a 6th seed, and this year he's playing as the 5th seed. He has a 6-2 record overall, so that's very impressive. I love the energy from him. He has a very big forehand. I think that his game is still developing and has a lot more room to develop even farther. Right now, very impressive of what he's displayed. Another player that I'm very, absolutely, I'm just shocked at how well he is. His ground stroke is incredible. Luka Vukovic, the new freshman for the team. I think that he's been very impressive in terms of keeping calm. He just got his first away win at Purdue this past weekend, so his record overall is 4-2. And Coach Schwartzman just has so many good things to say about him. So those are the two key standouts so far this year for me.
Yeah. And Payam, you know the men's team as well as anyone. Do you have anyone you want to add to that?
Yeah, no, Vikash, little guy, big heart though. He's got a massive forehand on him. Yeah, and Luka's been doing great for us as well. He's been getting off the court first in the past couple of matches, and Purdue is the first one to finish. So yeah, no, I definitely agree. I think Bennett Crane at number 1 spot, just first time being number 1, and we weren't sure, what we were going to do because we had Tony last year, was so dominant in that spot, but I think Bennett's really proven himself this year. He had that win over the number 8 player in the country against UCSB, and gets down the first. He hasn't won a first set yet, but the guy comes back every single time. He does not go away. He's a force to be reckoned with.
Still working on that one. That's a mystery.
That's
going to
be a fun fact of the year. Bennett Crane, number 1, 86 in the country, never won a first set.
He doesn't like the first set.
Apparently not. And Evan, real quick, what about for the women's team? Where have we seen some growth?
I think the biggest growth is in the freshmen being able to step up and being able to do their job that they're supposed to do. Coming into the season, it's a lot of freshmen. You have this number 6 hole, which is usually a freshman, whether it's Rose Hui or Mila, they're coming in, or Stikalescu, and they're doing their job and helping the team out and getting a win where it needs to be done. So that's a really nice job on the freshmen, and also a really nice job on the seniors who are able to coach them and be able to mentor them to really get it going and, be comfortable playing in a match that might determine the game.
Yeah. Well, still plenty of season to go, plenty of room for growth, and still plenty of show for us to go. We are going to take a quick break, but coming up after the break, hear from Luke Norton, our other women's tennis reporter, as he has some fun facts about the women's team, and it's time for more fun and games on our panel, so stick with us.
Welcome back to the Toss-Up. I'm Luke Norton. IU women's tennis has had a season with both ups and downs as they currently stand at 8-4 heading into Big Ten play against Northwestern. 3 of the team's 4 losses have come in sweeps, all against SEC schools in Alabama, Kentucky, and Tennessee, with the team's 4th loss being in a close match against Yale. However, the team has never let a loss get them down. The Hoosiers have won every single match following a defeat, with 3 of those wins being sweeps themselves. The team has been particularly dominant in the singles after a loss, as the Hoosiers are 16-1 overall in the singles and matches immediately after a loss. The team has now won 4 of their last 5 matchups, heading into a matchup against Northwestern, as both teams currently have a 2-game winning streak. The Wildcats are coming off of an upset victory over number 18 Baylor on the road. Northwestern currently has a losing home record at 1-3 as IU heads to Evanston. Drew, back to you at the panel.
Thanks, Luke. And now it's time for our fun and games. It's time for this new game that I call intrasquad scrimmage. Brand new, and I'll explain the way it works. It's pretty simple. Basically, I'm just going to set up a series of players of IU people for the tennis show, and we're just going to send up matchups. So men's team, women's team, men's team, and I want you to tell me how these matchups are going to go. The one stipulation is it's just one set, all right? So actually, I'm going to start over here with Evan. We're going to start over with the women's team.
Cool.
Yes, exactly. So we are going to play some doubles. One set of doubles. We're going to take the number 1 doubles team out, and we're going to go freshmen versus seniors. So the seniors would be Michelle McCamey and Caitlin Bernard. Mm-hmm. They're playing doubles together against the freshman tandem of Alex Stikalescu and Lexi Kubas. I know Lexi's fresh off an injury, already a strong part of the doubles play. Ooh. So out of the senior freshman matchup, Evan, who do you think wins the set?
That's the stumper right there. I think I'm going to have to go with the seniors. Really, I'm going to have to go with Bernard. I mean, Bernard's one of the best players, if not the best player on the team. She's #1 in singles, and she's, I believe, 1 or 2 in doubles. And McCamey is also, phenomenal. She's 5. She has one of the best records. You just have to go with experience. Kubis is coming back from an injury, and as much as I would love to go with the freshman, I have to go experience over youth.
Yeah, makes perfect sense. All right, now, Tal, we're going over to you.
Yep.
This one's a fun one. We talked about a little earlier.
Yep.
Bennett Crane has struggled in first sets all season, hasn't won a first set this season. Who on you can pick the players.
Okay.
One set, that was the stipulation. Is Bennett Crane beating any of his teammates in a first set? He maybe wins the match, but in a first set, who does he beat?
This is very tough. I'm going to go Carson Haskins because
You'd like to see Carson Haskins.
Carson, very interesting stat I have for you. He's only lost 1 game so far this year. He's played in 8, he's lost in 1, but a bunch of them it's unfinished.
Yeah.
So we don't know if he wins or loses. But I think Bennett against Carson, it's going to be a very long game, but the first set, hopefully Carson has that mentality of, let's win the second or third set, and Bennett goes, this is my time to win that first set finally, and beats him.
I feel like a first set with those two is going to take an hour long.
that'll be so long.
Just the one set, but that would be fun to watch. And to clarify, is Bennett's problem with not being able to win a first set, is it coincidental? Almost certainly, but I have to ask the question. I think it's fun. All right, Payam, your turn, and this is where it gets interesting.
All right, let's do it.
So I'm taking a little bit of a venture. It's not one of your specific teammates.
Okay.
We're going with your coaches.
Oh. Okay.
So Coach Wurtzman, and we're going to say Coach Wurtzman circa 15 years ago when he was fresh out of college, fresh out of playing professionally, versus Ronnie Schneider.
Right now.
Right now.
Oh, man, that's a tough one. Wow.
Both of them have that top-level experience.
Yeah, I never got to watch Schwartz when I was 6 years old, 15 years ago.
Yeah, that would make sense. Yeah.
But you know what? I think I love the heart that Ronnie has, and like the ability for him to get close to some guys that he's played. I think I'm gonna go with Ronnie. I'm gonna go with Ronnie. Like mentally, he's there. I mean, I know he's gonna give it his all. Like. And I think he can mouth off to Jeremy a little bit and get in his head a little bit.
You think he gets under his skin?
Yeah, I think he can get in Jeremy's head a little bit. Yeah,
That would be a
I think
fun
Ronnie.
match.
I think Ronnie can do it. I mean, he's a small guy, but he is everywhere, and he hits a big ball too. I mean, I tell you, he's an unbelievable. He's got unbelievable passion for the game. So I think he definitely can. I think he can wear Jeremy down. I think he can wear him down. Yeah, that's a good question though. Wow.
So in the set, what's your set score? The prediction?
One set.
Yeah, one set between the two.
Yeah, 7-6. Yeah.
It's got to be a tiebreak.
It's got to be a battle.
Tiebreak score. What's the tiebreak score?
Ooh,
We're going to go that far?
pushing him.
We'll go like Jeremy has a set point, and then he loses, and it's 8-6 Ronnie.
Oh.
Okay. There we go. We're getting really deep into
Come
this
on, I'll be honest.
now. We want to see this now.
You might not be on my court anymore.
All right, so now we're going on to our quick fire round here. So we're going to see what we can do with these questions. Payam, I'm going to start. This is a little tandem between you and I. I want to see who you think. We're going to go hype man, hype woman. So I'm going to start off with this as an example. My hype woman of the year is anytime I watch Michelle McCamey play, she is intimidating. Like, my favorite story is
Can't disagree.
I was watching her play on court 5, and she wins a big point, and she lets out like that big scream, the big grunt. And I heard someone on the other side of the complex yell, "Let's go, Michelle." They couldn't see her. They heard from like 5 courts down that it was her celebrating, and they knew she was the one to go for. So Payam, on the men's team, who do you have to counter that energy that Michelle McCamey brings?
Nothing can compare to Michelle's scream.
Nothing.
Yeah, you got to get earplugs before you watch her. But she gets fired up though. That's
Exactly.
awesome. I think on our team, the loudest. I think when Carson yells, when Carson gets pumped up and he has that insane look on his face, I think Carson has the loudest yell of us. I think
That's intimidating in a whole other way.
yeah, a lot of different ways, but yeah, I mean he's got those long rallies, so like he's got so much energy to just exert after that. So I think I think Carson Carson can yell, but nothing like Michelle though. Michelle's is that's something. Yeah, that's something. All right.
Definitely.
Got to
All
keep a distance from her match.
right. Exactly. And imagine being the opponent.
Yeah.
You don't have a choice there.
Yeah.
Get a little scared.
Yeah. All right. So take a little more serious note. We want to look down the stretch. And so, Evan, we'll go to you for the women's team. As we get into Big Ten play, who are going to be some of the biggest threats that IU is going to have to deal with?
Well, right off the bat, I think Ohio State. They're number 5 in the country right now, but luckily I do not believe that the team ends up playing them for the rest of the season. I don't think they are on the schedule. But of teams who are on the schedule, you have Maryland, Wisconsin, Michigan, and Minnesota. Those are definitely the biggest 4 threats in the conference right now, without a doubt. I mean, Michigan's 16 right now. Maryland, Wisconsin, and Minnesota are all putting up phenomenal seasons so far. So those are going to be the games that are really going to test us. And you also have Purdue, because it's just rivalry. Like, all rivalries, no matter, if both teams are good, if both teams are bad, are up to a level. You see it in every sport. So those 5 games are going to be really big for the team. And I think that those are definitely going to be their hardest matches to come up.
Yeah. And top, for the men's side, what do you think? Who do you think is going to be some of the teams IU is going to have the most pressure on?
Well, it starts with this weekend, Dartmouth on Saturday. That you guys have to face, the 25th best team in the country.
Yeah.
Got those around. And then obviously down Big Ten play, you have Ohio State, you have Michigan. Both those teams right now have more than 10 wins already to their season. And then there's the likes of Iowa, Minnesota, Illinois, which is all ranked. But I don't think IU should be scared. They're ranked 49th for a reason, beating a lot of good teams this year so far. We saw the wins against Notre Dame as well as UC Santa Barbara last week, and then the big one against Memphis earlier on the season. So only positive things to come.
Yeah. And so, Payam, as we get down to that final stretch, what are the keys? What's something that's been emphasized all season long that you guys just have to hunker down on?
Yeah, he said it well. Michigan, Ohio State, those are big ones that we're trying to go after. Big Ten play in men's tennis right now is on a huge high, and we've got some great chances. Iowa ranked pretty high right now, a team that we beat last year pretty handily. Minnesota is going to be a big one as well. So, yeah, I think the biggest thing for us is that doubles point. We set the tone, and then especially if we have them at home, making sure that our guys are connected. We got the crowds and everything, and then if we're away, we still got to stick together and just focus on our game and stay connected out there. I think we got a great shot at all those teams.
Yeah. And now, one last fun question we want to wrap this up for. Payam, this one's for you.
Okay.
I'm putting you on the spot a little bit here again. But I want to say we're going to hypothetically have a big mixed doubles match coming up. I know doubles is your specialty. Yeah. And you're on the court. You have to pick one of the players from the women's team to be your mixed doubles partner. Who do you want on your side?
Oh, this is tough. There's no right answer.
There has to be a right answer
Someone's
somewhere.
Gonna be unhappy at the
if you've got a list, you can't. I guess you'd name the entire team at that point. All right, give us one of the players in your consideration.
You know what? I think I'm gonna go with Lexi. I think she's got a mean lefty serve.
Yeah.
Great backhand, so I can stick her where Patrick is on the return side. and she seems like she's having fun out there too. Like you can have a conversation with her during the match.
That's what matters. Yeah.
I think Lexi would work. I think that'd work.
Yeah, it's about having fun out there on the court.
Yeah, sorry to the other girls, though. Nothing.
No, exactly. That's what I said.
You had to pick one.
Right. We're going with Lexi as one of the players you will consider.
Oh, yeah.
There are other women in the consideration to be your mixed doubles partner.
Everyone's under consideration.
Exactly. All right, well, that does do it for our show this week. Thank you all for being here, and thank you so much for tuning in. Be sure to continue our discussion on Twitter at IUSTV Sports and on Facebook at IUSTV Sports as well. You can always give any suggestions for the show, ask any questions you might have. So toss it up, find out if we'll catch it, and we'll see you next time.